everyone, welcome back to the Handmade Homestead and Garden. I'm Angela Allen, and this is the 4th week for the Every Bit Counts Challenge that's put on every year by Three Rivers Homestead in the month of August. And today we have a lot to do to get our week started and to get through this week altogether. And we are going to start with, no, not tomatoes. Peaches. My Red Haven peach in the backyard has decided that it's time to start ripening all of its fruit at once, and this year it is really loaded. This basket behind me holds, I weighed it, about 20 pounds of peaches, and this isn't even a drop in the bucket for what's out there. So we're going to start getting these processed, and for this week, for the 4th week in the Every Bit Counts Challenge, I'm definitely going to be preserving or putting away some kind of peach product every single day. So we got a lot of work ahead of us. This is one of 2 peach trees in my garden. This is a Red Haven peach. They have beautiful yellow peaches. We are a 100% organic garden, so we only use kale and clay and a little bit of copper fungicide a couple of times earlier in the season, in the fall and right before spring. But other than that, we use kale and clay, and most of the peaches you can see are pretty good condition, but some of them have spots. You know, they're not perfect, but it doesn't matter because we are going to eat the flesh and not the skin. And in preserving them, we're going to peel them anyway. So we're going to get started on that. The other peach tree we have is an Alberta peach. It has tons of fruit on it as well, but it's not ripe at all. Thank goodness they do not ripen at the same time. And then right after that, coming up, we have apple trees, 2 apple trees too. We don't have a lot of fruit trees. We just have 5 in an orchard row that is actually in our garden. I run them like a hedgerow. I keep them short, under 7 feet tall, and small dried up, just because we don't need hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pieces of fruit. We just need several dozen, enough to can, enough for fresh eating. But it turns out that these peach trees this year have outdone themselves. This one basket behind me isn't even a dent in that one tree, and you'll see some footage here throughout the video of that. So we need to get going, and come along if you're looking for some peach ideas, and if you're not, we're always glad for your company too. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It helps so much with the algorithm, and it's really helping us to grow, and we so appreciate you. All right, let's go. Well, let's start by getting these peaches washed and sorted. I am going to voice over some of this if you notice a change in the volume here and there, just so that you can hear me better in the noisy kitchen. It's very hot and very humid, and it's going to be all week, so you're going to hear that fan noise. I apologize for that, but it's the best way to be able to work. I'm going to add a little citric acid to the water. This is where I'm going to drop my peaches after I peel them. Those are my perfect ones for the fridge for fresh eating, and the others I'm going to can. Let's start by making a cross in the bottom so that I can quick blanch these in boiling water. I will tell you that these are Red Haven, so they don't drop their skins as easily as some other peaches do. And these are also not freestone peaches, so you can't really cut them and break them in half by hand. You really have to cut the flesh from the pit, and we'll talk about that in just a second. I'm also going to explain why I bother going through doing this hot water blanching and cooling before I peel, because I have a reason for that too. Okay, I want to show you this because they always make it look so easy online. Let's take a nice big peach. All right, so for me, even though I scored the bottoms, the skin is not peeling off them. So I am peeling them by hand. So I'm literally peeling them. So the peelings are going in this bucket over here, as are the seeds and the cores, and as soon as I peel this, I'll show you why. So all of these, I have cut out all the bad parts. I do that before I try to blanch them anyway. And blanching them just help kind of kill any germs or spores or anything on the outside of them. So I'm happy with that either way. But just in case you try this and this doesn't work for you, the skins don't come right off and you feel like you did something wrong, you didn't do something wrong, it's just the peaches. All right, so that is a scar down the middle. That is gonna go in my trash bucket. Now I can't just cut and pop off slices like some people do, and these are not free-spelled peaches, so I can't break them in half. So what I do is I treat them like a mango. I just go around the core and I cut off chunks of the peach flesh. These I'll can. They're going, this water has citric acid in it to keep them from browning in the meantime. So I'm left with this core. Now there's quite a bit of peach on there. Now I'm not going to sit there and cut all of that off because I have a lot to do. But this is going to go into this bucket with clean peelings and the seed and cores. This I will make peach jam or peach jelly with. After I get all of this done, I'll just throw all of this in the freezer because I have too many peaches to deal with outside on the trees too to be doing all of that right now. So for right now, my focus is to get, at least for today and probably tomorrow and the next day, is to get peaches ready for canning, to can them, because I don't want to take up all of my freezer space. I will probably end up putting some slices like this in the freezer at some point, but for now, I'm just going to can them. So this is how I'm going to do it. So in case any of you think there's something wrong with you because you can't peel the peach after putting it in a water, hot water for a few minutes, it's not you. It's sometimes the variety of the peach. Don't worry about that. Just do the best you can. And even not pretty slices of peaches still taste incredibly good when you eat them in the winter when it's snowing. All right, back to work here. In case you're asking yourself if it's worth it to put them in the hot water at all, it absolutely is, because it does soften them. And even though I can't peel these off in a pretty way, a vegetable peeler works super well and super fast. I can do a whole peach in just a couple of, seconds, 10 or 15 seconds or less, really. And because it's warmer and it's been in the hot water, it does come off a lot faster. It also makes it a lot easier to cut the peach off. I don't know if you can see how easy that is. It comes off super easy. And again, I don't care if they're pretty. My family isn't going to be looking at them going, oh, that's not a pretty chunk. They care if they taste good. It's actually my husband who's an absolute peach fanatic, and that's why I grew these trees to start with. But those are perfectly acceptable peach slices in my bowl of yogurt. I don't know about you, but that works really well for me. So absolutely do put them in the hot water and give that a try. Absolutely use a vegetable peeler that's comfortable in your hand. It goes a lot faster than doing it with a paring knife. And absolutely do heat them in the hot boiling water for a couple of minutes. It will make them a lot easier and a lot faster, especially when you have a lot to do. All right, let's start with canned slices in a light syrup. I'm going to start by washing my jars in hot soapy water, rinsing them really well, and I'm going to put them in fresh, clean water in the water bath canner, and I'm going to boil them for 10 minutes. I am the dishwasher in my house. We don't have a machine, so this is the best way to make sure they're really clean. After that's done and they're cooled, I'm going to change my water out for cold water in the canner, and I'm going to pack these peaches pretty firmly in the jar. That pan you see sitting right under my arm is actually full of a light sugar syrup. You can do it light or heavy, whatever works for you. There's plenty of recipes online, but I'm going to pack them pretty firmly. Peaches, like most fruits, when you can them, will have a gap at the bottom. The fruit will float to the top when you take it out of the canner. You'll notice that over time it will settle more evenly in the jar, but having that extra gap at the bottom is completely normal. Don't worry about it. The peach juice in it is highly usable. That's syrup too. So I'm going to get these all packed and in the water bath canner. I'm sticking my hand in there just to prove to you that that is cool water, because these are room temperature peaches, and my syrup that I used in them was also cool. So cold food going in, it goes into cold water. Hot food going in goes into hot water. That's to avoid breakage of your jars. I water bath canned them, out they come. Those will go on the shelf. But that gap at the bottom, again, don't worry about that. That's completely normal, and that will lessen over time as the peaches cool off and find their way in the syrup. Now I'm packing up the leftover cores and skins. I'm not going to show you this every time, but I am going to do it every time. Those will get vacuum sealed and tossed in the freezer, and I will make jam with that, or jelly eventually when I have time. After the bulk of the canning season is done, I go back and I do things like make peach jam, or I make tomato sauce, that kind of thing. So next up, we're going to make peach salsa. This is straight from the Ball book of home preserving and canning. There are lots of peach salsa recipes. Peach salsa isn't my personal favorite, but it's really, really good on fish and chicken and fish tacos, that kind of thing. It's really delicious, so it's worth making. I probably only make it every other year, but this year I do have a lot of peaches to work with, so I'm going to make some for the shelves. I am very commonly a small batch canner, but in a lot of these recipes you're seeing today, I am actually double batching them. I think pretty much all of these peach recipes I've double batched, because I do have the produce and I need to deal with it before any of it spoils, and because these are all tried and true and common familiar recipes that my family will get plenty of use out of on the shelves, and they're all ones that most of you have probably already tried or will definitely be trying in the future. Most condiments I do in 8-ounce containers, be it barbecue sauce or ketchup or tomato jam, that kind of thing. But salsa is the one thing I do in pints, because we go through that pretty quickly. All right, let's do some peach pie filling. This recipe again is from the Ball Big Book of Home Canning and Preserving, and the link for that can be found down below in the description. Click on the Amazon link. Those are my Amazon storefront that will come up, and you'll be able to find a section for books, and you'll be able to find the book right in there. It's a really helpful, basic book that every canner should have. It's full of good information. Now, we like this recipe well enough, but it isn't our all-time favorite. Frankly, for us, it's a little too lemony. We'd rather have sweet pie filling than tart, and this one tends to be really tart with the lemon in it. So if you have your own well-loved recipe for any kind of fruit pie filling, I'm definitely looking for other pie filling recipes to build up that part of my pantry stock. I really want to have more pie filling done going into winter, and even if it uses like the cooked gel, clear gel, I have clear gel all the time anyway. So definitely let me know. Give me the link down below. I would love to see your recipe or hear some flavor ideas for ones that you love. We have already been eating this pie filling over homemade yogurt. If you don't make your own yogurt, you really have to try. I'm going to give a little blip here, I'm going to show you the face of one of my videos I've done on making yogurt with no dirty dishes. You absolutely use the Instant Pot. It's super quick. You don't have to boil the milk ahead of time. You just use high protein milk, and what comes out of it is really rich Greek style yogurt that is just so mild and so delicious, and absolutely no dirty dishes. You make it right in the quart jars. So it's a snap. It's super easy, you guys. You got to try it. We eat a lot of yogurt around here. All right, time to process. So this is that peach pie filling coming out. But again, like I said, it does have apples in it. The recipe also calls for raisins. I actually use just a few dried cranberries. Those are the little dark specks you see in it. They're dried cranberries or dried berries. And I didn't use raisins. I omitted those just because I didn't have them in the house. I would have used them otherwise. So those will be well used this winter. But again, I'm looking for other recipes, and if you have favorites, absolutely drop them below. I want to hear them. All right, time to make some peach nectar. Now basically this is just a couple of peaches cooked really well and then pureed in the water, added some sugar, added some lemon juice, and I bottled it. I only did a couple of them just to be able to use them as a mixture in drinks. And since my canner wouldn't be filled, I did some quick small batch pickles to fill the canner up. And I'm just showing you that it's not just peach juice in there. So I never run my canner unless it's full. At least I try not to. And my canner will hold 8 quart jars. I know most hold 7. This canner holds 8. So every time I make pickles, I almost always have some leftover brine. I stash it in the fridge. And then I am good to go to make small batches of pickles from the garden with whatever I have coming in. So I have some yellow zucchini, some green beans, some peppers. I just made a couple of bottles of pickles. Those are sweet pickle, and some of them you'll see the clear brine that looks like water. That is just that universal brine, half vinegar, half water, and then flavorings that you use to make pickles. So that's what all of these are. One is green bean pickles. You can see they're floating still because they're still hot. And then a mixtured pickles. I love mixed pickles like that. I throw a clove of garlic in. I make them all a little bit different so we don't get bored with the same flavor. And pickles are just such a great thing to fill out meals. Peach barbecue sauce. Again, you guessed it, this is from the Ball Book of Home Preserving. I use a chopper, especially right there, to chop up jalapeno peppers. I'm one of those people, if I get the hot peppers on my skin, I have burning on my skin for days afterwards. So I'm using that chopper that I so love. You guys see me use this all the time. Again, there's a link for it down in my Amazon shop if you want to click on that. It's very inexpensive. I always keep 2 in the house because I'm afraid I'll break one and I won't have one handy. So I always have 2. One I'm using and one in a box. So this is that, like I said, that well-known recipe for peach barbecue sauce. Incredibly good on chicken, on fish, really on rice, in tacos. Any way you want to eat this stuff. It is so good. We actually had it the first night I made it. There's always that little bit left over when you can. And that the little bit that was left over, I actually put it on top of tuna, fresh tuna steaks, and it was really delicious. So as you can see, I just cook everything together till it's soft, and then I hit it with a stick blender and just puree it down to the texture that I want, which in this case, a very thick barbecue sauce. I also did add a little bit of hickory smoke flavoring to this. We prefer smoky barbecue sauce over honey barbecue sauce, and this does have a lot of honey in it, this recipe, but I did add some smoke to it, and we thought it was wonderful. And I made a bunch of them. I did do a double batch. Again, here I am with the double batches, but I did make them in 8-ounce containers. Those half pints will serve our small family better. And I did a couple of 8-ounce containers that are the small squatty jars. They're wider and small,
They're wider and they're shorter. There we go. And those I did specifically to be able to use them as Christmas gifts. I just did a couple that way. As always, I always clean my rims. I always make sure I've got the right headspace too. The amount of headspace in your jar when you're canning really doesn't have anything to do with the safety of the food. It has to do with the quality and any air exposure that could happen with food that's above that headspace. But as long as your jar is sealed and was water bath canned properly, there's really not a big risk for safety. Just always follow the recipe until you become experienced enough to feel comfortable varying it. So those are those little squatty jars. All right, spiced rum peach slices. I substituted a cup of rum in this syrup and threw in some cloves and some cinnamon sticks, and oh my goodness, they're good. I only made 4. We've already eaten 2. I can see now I have to make more. Well, thanks for joining me for my 4th week of the Every Bit Counts challenge for the month of August. My pantry has gotten really full, and I will show you that. I'll do a little pantry tour in my video next week. In the meantime, here's a video you might enjoy, and I will see you next time. Take care.